Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You wanted the best, you got the best. The hottest legal TV show in the nation right now. Reasonable Doubt, brought to you by the Harris County Criminal Lawyers Association. I'm your host, Jimmy Ardwan, along with my co-host, Julio Hook'em Horns Vela.
We're back.
Dude, we went out and punched them in the...
Oh, I love it. Longhorn Nation, I love you. Jimmy, I love you. Victoria, Corey, great show. I'm coming in 2019 with a big high.
That's right. Joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Victoria Urfesoglu, coming back out of the booth to join us again.
Yes, always good to be in here with your smiling faces. Happy New Year,
Happy
everybody.
New Year to you as well. And Corey Roth.
Happy New Year.
What's up, buddy?
Not much.
So, we're going to be here for the next hour. We've been off the air for a month. We've been kind of lazy, eating, drinking, having a good time, ringing in the new year. But we're back now.
My wallet. I will tell you, look, all you new judges and everyone around, my wallet went from here to here. I hope all of you hold true to your promises, okay?
Let's talk about that. And we'll be with you for the next hour here. You can reach us on the phone line, 713-807-1794 if you want to get in, debate us, make a comment, question, whatever the hell you want to do. We'll also have Twitter up at HCCLA_TV if you want to shoot us a message on there. But you make a good point, Julio. Let's start there. Let's start with the new year and the new judges.
Dems came in of the big.
They've been on the bench for 2 days.
They've been on the bench for 2 days, and let me just say, initial impressions. My initial impressions are they're doing a good job. They're a little bit trying to, fill out the robe.
Did they really do a bad job in 48 hours on the...
Well, I've seen some.
Honestly, guys, could they really screw it up in 48 hours at this point?
In theory, you could, right? But
I guess.
They haven't, so that's successful.
They showed up, and that's the first step.
Nobody's lit a cigarette inadvertently and caught the building on fire.
No one's,
so that's a good thing.
gotten in a fight or... I don't know if you guys remember, I think we talked about it here. There was a story, I think it was before the holidays, family court. New judge went into family court. Switch bench. So I haven't heard any of those kinds of stories.
Yeah.
So.
Well, so the story is that person who won the election shows up, not a judge yet, into the courtroom that they won. Mm-hmm. And then presiding judge kicks him out of the court.
Very sweet, trying to help with the transition, and she got kicked out, in a not so sweet way.
That's just petty politics, of course, and everybody being bitter party of one that they're losing their bench. But I don't know.
I think there's been a certain amount of grace in the county criminal courts.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
What are some of them doing now? What have you heard? Where are people going? Because a lot of people are out.
I read today that Judge Fields is of counsel for Tyler Floods and Jordan Lewis.
Did you see that? It's Tyler and it's Flood and Lewis now.
How do you guys? So these guys are going to be making the transition. Not just the judges, but we've had some prosecutors who've left here over the last couple months. You got a lot of people transitioning. Fort Bend.
Same.
I heard they wiped out.
Right.
I've heard upwards of 15 to 20, somewhere of 30 people gone.
Yeah.
That many. Wow.
So
gone.
You've got a bunch of people coming out now, going to be theoretically jumping to the dark side to come practice with those of us who've been doing it for a while. Is it going to be easy, you think, for some of these people to make the transition? And so the funny thing, and the reason I asked that is because I watched something, I think it was one day while we've been on a break, but CNN was doing a thing on Robert Mueller, kind of doing a background on him, and one of the people on the show said, he just had a hard time going to private practice. Because he'd meet with these, getting paid millions of dollars, of course, with these big DC law firms. He'd meet with the client, he'd just say, well, it sounds like you just need to go to jail.
Whoa.
The guy just couldn't hang up his FBI, federal prosecutor hat. Do you think a lot of these judges and former prosecutors making this transition, how do you think it's going to be for a lot of them to do that?
I think some of them are going to struggle because, some of the ones I know that I've had cases with who didn't know certain things that are fundamental to know, like what is an AICE motion and how it works and those kinds of things, and how do you subpoena.
And you're talking about as a prosecutor or the judge?
No, I'm talking about as prosecutors, and now they're going to, if they are in fact going to do defense work, figure out how to do zealous representation for their client. And I know for a fact that some of them don't know certain things that are fundamental that they should know, and then I wonder if their heart is going to be in it, because this is, I'm sure as everybody knows at this table, very much a labor of love in this county.
Yeah, I mean, hey, go ahead, Corey. You were going to say
I mean, I'm of the belief that, you know, being a criminal defense lawyer, you have to learn it and you have to earn it. And it's difficult, I think, when you're coming from the side of I'm going to prosecute people, I'm going to throw people in jail, to I'm going to help people and I'm going to represent individuals, real life human beings, which is something that these people haven't done. And to answer your original question, is it going to be hard for them or easy for them? I'm curious to find out which one of them are going to jump right into court-appointed work.
Well,
That's
most
a
of them
better
are,
question,
right?
because
Well, I think
yeah.
most of them are going to have to, because it's not like you just
Well,
come out with people ringing up your phone line to.
I think if
hire
I
you.
understand Corey correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, the interesting thing is to see how quickly they are able to achieve appointments.
Oh, getting on the appointment
Yes.
list and stuff. Yeah.
Whereas many of our colleagues who had very good training, very good mentors in criminal defense struggled to get those appointments. And I know we have a different bench now in this county, and in Fort Bend there have been changes, but I think that's an excellent point.
I have heard a number of the judges that are coming in who are experienced in Harris County on the misdemeanor side have shifted to 3 days a week for court-appointed attorneys. So no more of this 5-day a week kind of deal. You're gonna go 3 day a week. However, some other courts have chosen not to and are still doing 5 a week.
But we still have the fundamental problem of the judiciary being involved, you know, with their hand on the trigger of the court appointment system.
Well, and I think there's a managed case system that's coming through, supposed to be happening, where it'll take the appointment power away from the judges and give it to an independent person.
Do you think those of us who, like, you know, I've never been a prosecutor, but I had sometimes struggle with this notion, you know, like, we come on this show sometimes and we rail about all the problems with the system, right? How people don't get out on bond and how certain people are treated and all the miscarriages of justice that occur. And there's a lot of them. I mean, but I sometimes feel like maybe some of us overplay that card a little too much.
Overplay the bond problem?
No, not the bond. I'm talking about that we harp on the problem so much that we try to change the narrative to make it sound like that's an everyday occurrence and this is going on every day in every court, that people are being fundamentally deprived their rights. And I don't know. I mean, I thought about it over in the time we've been off, and I mean, I thought about some of the things that we had talked about on this show, you know, and how we had gone over the bond issue and some of this stuff, and I feel like we harp a lot on the problems with the system, but a lot of the system is just everybody doing their job.
But I think some of the problems are so fundamental and big that it's not enough. We're a system, right? It's a machine. It's supposed to do its job. But when it doesn't do its job correctly, a human life gets bamboozled or destroyed, a family, whatever. And I don't think that talking about it diminishes the times where it does work correctly, because there's an expectation that it should. I mean, that's what we want it to do. We pay tax money for it to do that. So I think we would do ourselves a disservice if we didn't harp on it. Shouldn't be. One is maybe too many. Maybe that's extreme for some people, but I think one person, and I've talked to colleagues who have put in a very good fight for clients, and if they were prosecutors, they would have won. But for the fact that they were on the other side, they lose a lot. And I think that's another problem that needs to be addressed. So I think that we do a big social service by talking about them, because that's the way to spread awareness, and that's the way to really critique something that we're supposed to be proud of, right?
Yeah.
I have a story something. One of my clients was offered a time served recently, but we wanted to do a little bit of investigation. And actually, I don't think it was a time served up front, but by the time he would have come back to court, it would have been a time served, right? It was only a week reset.
Right.
The guy ends up being in a unit in the jail that's quarantined because somebody has
Scabies.
something like
Right.
shingles,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we can't bring him over. We're on the phone, the deputy's on the phone, the coordinator's on the phone, and the judge says, no, I don't want anybody being in this courtroom that is potentially, contagious, right? It's a very serious disease. So this poor guy misses Christmas, I think Thanksgiving also, all because of something that was totally like outside of the actor's controls, but the system just prevented him from getting, quick, swift justice that he deserved. And that's one of those things that, like, Victoria was just talking about, where, like, generally I think our system does work pretty well. The actors do work pretty well, but that's one story that's going to stick with me for a very long time. I feel terrible about
And
it.
it's 2019. There's certain things that should not prevent justice being served.
Let's talk about the new judges.
Okay.
What have we heard about the new judges? Let's go to the courts.
They're Democrats.
All Dems.
One's a social democrat or socialist democrat.
I have not popped into Judge Bynum's court. God, but I would love to. And just be like, Judge Bynum, how are you
I
doing?
think he'd be pleased to see you.
I need to go by there tomorrow.
Yeah.
So what I've heard is that the ones that we know who are experienced and veterans and know what they're doing, not to say that the others don't know what they're doing, respectfully, Your Honors. But the ones that
Way to
do,
cover who.
but the ones that do know what they're
Way to
doing.
backtrack.
But the ones that do know what they're doing, from what I hear, are doing what they're supposed to be doing. What they've promised and what they have pledged to do, which is make changes in the system regarding PR bonds, bond conditions, and I hear, a different eyeglass or perspective for punishment. What have y'all heard?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like Jimmy said, it's only been 48 hours, so it's kind of soon to tell. But like, this is the first time personally in my life, not as a lawyer, but like just as a human in society, that I happen to know a few of the people on a personal level and on a professional level from before they even, expressed any interest, at least to me, about running. And so I'm very intrigued and very interested to see how it's going to work and how the process is going to evolve, and to see if they will be able to implement, because for some of them, I really do think that they want to implement the things that they've talked about, and that they do have, their heart in the right place, and they do care, and they have the dedication. So it'll be very interesting to see how quickly and how efficiently they're able to do some of the stuff.
Do you think they're going to just, at some point, if some of this stuff can't be implemented easily, that they'll just fall back on old habits of the system just because that's the way we've done it?
It possibly, but for some of them, I don't know that you could say that they have old habits of this system, because they're new, right? Most of them, I think, are new judges.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you could use that excuse, because you have no old habit. You're new, right? So.
Well, but I mean, we've all been lawyers in the system. We all know how the system has historically operated, and it's kind of like the blanket of a baby. I mean, it's of a toddler. It's your comfort blanket, and maybe they try a few new things and it doesn't go smoothly. I mean, do we revert back to the old way of doing things because that's what we know?
What I'm concerned about is what happens when dude on bond goes and kills somebody.
Yeah.
On 610, driving the wrong way on one way from an interlock that's been removed.
Well, and look, because I mean, that's going to be for the 2020 election. That's going to be
It's going to be friends
card
and
that they
family on the
trot out.
2020
But
election.
the
It's not
thing
going to be
is-
straight tickets.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, you could say that about anything. I mean, are you saying that before the new judges took the bench, there were no people on bond who committed crime?
No,
I mean,
no.
so
I'm with you. I'm with you, but,
No, but the
heavy
narr-
lies
but
the
the
crown. We're
narrative-
not wearing the crown.
Yeah, but look, the narrative has been from from the Republican side that the Democrats just want to let everybody out, and hence what what was his name? The juvenile judge did right before.
Yeah,
Schneider.
Schneider.
That was.
No,
He
it wasn't
created
Schneider.
Gotham
I,
City.
I think it was.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
Oh, yeah, and
It
we
wasn't
also
Schneider,
had.
but
A,
it was.
I thought it was Schneider.
No, Schneider. No, Schneider is a
Schneider.
phenomenal judge.
Devlin, I think.
He's amazing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Schneider's-
Yes. I'm sorry. It was
So,
Devlin.
you know,
But
I mean,
the thing about that was there was no filtering. It was just a political move.
Agreed, but I
These
think
kids, a lot of the ones that got released didn't even have. Some of them had mental health issues. They didn't have parents
No, for
on
sure.
standby. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
was a mess.
But I mean, the narrative is going to be if something like that happens. The difference this time is the narrative is going to be from the Republican side. Hey, the Dems just wanted to let everybody out, and this is what happens. The public is not protected by this.
I think before they revert, I mean, these people, these judges, right? They're politicians.
Yeah.
They went out, they shook hands every day for 6
They did.
months, right? So they're persistent. They have a work ethic. I think if something fails, they need to remind themselves of their work ethic and try to figure out, a less restrictive means of achieving the goal of, community safety while cases
Yeah.
are pending or while
I mean, that's the
defendants
trick.
are on probation.
and look, I saw one of them, who I won't say any names, who I've known to be a very dedicated criminal defense lawyer, sign a conviction, a judgment.
Ooh.
So
Oh, that
they're gonna do. I
hurts.
mean,
That hurts.
but that's
Job.
it's
I
what their
know,
job
I know,
is.
but
So
still, bro, I don't know if I could do that.
it's
they're
tough.
doing it.
We got a phone call here early on in the show. What are we in? We're barely 15 minutes in the show. We got phone lines lighting up. Hello, thanks for calling Reasonable Doubt.
Hey, good evening, guys.
What's
So
up?
it's been it's been a long time since the election and some of the promises these judges made, and so I'm just curious, what, in y'all's opinion, is the things that we're really looking for with these new judges, like specifics, like case resets, how far we're going out, bond schedules, those kind of specific things that we'd like, kind of the defense bar is really looking for with these new judges. Can y'all talk about the specific things we're looking for?
Sure, thanks. Good
Thank
question.
you, and I'll hang up.
Yeah, absolutely. What are y'all looking for?
Specifically.
Specifically.
Can I just say what I experienced? And I don't mean it to be a segue, but I had a hearing recently, and I get moved by it. But I had a hearing recently where I challenged a law based on the First Amendment, and I had recently done it in a different county with a different law, and I'll just say that Judge Jordan was the presiding judge at the hearing, and the effort and the time and the energy that he put into not only reading all of the pleadings, but reading the case law and asking the relevant, intelligent questions that should have been asked, for me was a new experience because I'm so used to being looked at sideways and just getting shut down, without too much question. And I think that's something that I'm looking forward to, is judges who are going to do what Judge Jordan did and actually take the time to read and understand and follow the law. Is that not enough?
Let's talk about two things.
Way too much to ask.
What so talk to us about your issue. What was the issue?
Okay, so it was the
And then we gotta get back to the caller's question.
yes.
Oh.
Actually, let's deal with the
Okay.
caller's question.
So
I don't wanna
it was
sidetrack.
what specifically are we looking for? We're looking let me tell you what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a strong leader amongst the judgeship of the misdemeanors, and then you need a strong leader, and we'll talk about the leadership as far as the regional judges and local judges, and I guess how that interplays. I'm looking for strong leadership. I'm looking for clear direction, and I'm looking for fulfillment of promises of all of the blue wave coming through. That's what I'm thinking.
For me, from a practical perspective, fewer useless resets, right? There's no need to come back to court if the prosecutor hasn't given you your discovery or your subpoena hasn't been returned. It's a waste of everybody's time. Our clients are missing work, right? They need to go to work in order to pay us. And if they can pay us, they're not being appointed. And if you are appointed, I mean, these people generally work and they have low-income jobs. They need that.
Court Roth works 24 hours a day. Roll.
I would also like to get some trial dates. It has been near impossible to get a trial on a misdemeanor in Harris County. I think the judges need to come together, put their brain trust together, and figure out a way to get trials. I mean, there are old cases lingering that can be solved, and I think there needs to be consequences for prosecutors that aren't doing their job. They're not giving us discovery. A lot of them are great about it.
What I've heard is that some felony judges are now exercising the hearing of the examining trial. So, case is not indicted, let's set it for an examining trial. And they're going to just have these examining trials all day to see, like, look, do you have enough to really file this right now or not? And if you don't, it goes away as a way of docket control, as a way of, screening that's coming in.
I don't know what my expectations are or what I'd like to see from the campaign promises, because look, those campaign promises, you know. I mean, look, it's
Politics.
It's politics, right? I think what I would like to see as a whole, that my biggest hope for this crop of judges coming in, because so many of them are former private practitioners, okay? And yeah, they ran on a platform of change. What the biggest change that I'd like to see is that we raise the bar of professionalism a little more. I feel like for a while there, I think it kind of slipped. I think we had a period of time here within the last decade that I really feel like there was a lot of, you'd walk into court and you'd see prosecutors and defense lawyers and judges not treating each other with the professional courtesies that I think we should strive to have as a profession. I mean, we all went to law school. We all got, this JD degree, and I think we've all earned at least the ability to gain, to have respect and professionalism shown to us until we break that trust.
And I think that this is maybe a good group of people. I don't want to sound ageist, but I think that whenever you have younger people with new perspectives coming in to replace what may be perceived as older people who have kind of been stale and, like you said, set in their ways, that a certain amount of progress should be expected.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me though, my thing is like with a prosecutor, for instance. Okay, I don't try. I see a lot of defense lawyers. First thing they come in, and they're just they treat a prosecutor with disdain and unprofessionalism, and it's, you got to give me this and you got to give me that, and so, that attitude begets the attitude from the prosecutor and just sets the whole thing off, right? I mean, my philosophy, rightly or wrongly, the way I've always approached practicing law on a particular case is I always show my opponent the utmost deference at the start and respect until they do something to lose my respect.
Yeah, I agree.
Till they hide a piece of evidence, till they misrepresent something to me or to the court.
Yeah.
And even then, I don't go into attack mode. I still treat them with professionalism, but at that point I know, like, hey, this is somebody who can't be trusted.
Right.
And so I think what I've just kind of, I feel like there's been a period here where there was a lot of just lack of professionalism in the courthouse.
Do you think it was because of the election?
I think it was because of the conditions before the election.
Yeah, it was before. But it was before the hurricane too.
Before the hurricane too. I mean,
absolutely.
You think everybody's just all stressed? Everything's just breaking down?
I think there was a lot of frustration. I don't know. I'm not going to be able to speak from the perspective of a prosecutor, but I will say this. I was in an actual innocence writ hearing recently, and we had to call some prior employees of the district attorney's office to testify. And the testimony that I heard was very illuminating to me, because even within the office, there are so many different mindsets and perspectives and politics happening. So I think it's more of, there's a lot of people who are not professional going around on both sides, within law enforcement, within the personnel at the district attorney's office, and that's been happening for years.
Right.
I'll say it's a different walk into the courtroom from January 2nd. Walk in, I say, "What's up, Judge?"
Yeah, but see, that's what I'm concerned about. That's kind of one of my concerns.
What are you? The Dems are in power now.
No,
the Dems are in.
But see, man, I just feel like some people are going to be real casual about things.
Well,
And it's a courtroom.
you have to respect the bench.
You have to respect
have
the bench.
to.
And you
Well,
have to
and
respect,
yourself. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
you
you
are a
have to-
lawyer,
You have
an
to
officer
respect
of
the
the court.
process. I mean, I just don't want. I don't want to have friendships with people get in the way of professionalism.
Yeah.
You know?
Hopefully it won't, but
I
I,
don't think-
mean,
and
I've seen judges in the past rubbing elbows with certain elder white
Sure.
male lawyers, prosecutors, and defense attorneys alike, and I get looked at funny because
Yeah.
I look the way I look, or am the age that I am. So, I think that that's going to happen regardless because you're dealing with human beings.
I agree to some extent, but and maybe it's just a generational thing, and I'm not trying to slam on things. But even in that, even what you're talking about, that was seen, you didn't see it necessarily overtly in the courtroom. It happened a lot in the back chambers, in the back hallways. I mean, there are probably instances that happened in the courtroom. I'm not saying, but I think that there was. I'm just worried that this generation, some people in my generation and the generation after me, can be a little too casual with things.
I mean, I've
What do
seen
you think,
conversations
man?
at
I want
the
to
bench.
hear what Corey has to say.
I mean, I've heard it about me that I'm a little too casual in the courtroom, but I think
'cause you got the best hair, dude.
Some days it's a fro, some days it's a slick back. It just depends what the humidity's like outside.
Right.
But I think it's up for the judges, right, to set that
I do.
tone
They set
of
the tone.
professionalism.
Right.
And there might be times where a JV or a Corey walk in and we're a little too laid back, relaxed, and they can take us to the back or just remind the court from time to time, hey, we may be friends. And what I don't want to see is there were some misdemeanor courts where you would just see the prosecutors up there schmoozing with the judge
I mean-
all the time.
No, I agree.
How's your
but-
wife? Are you going to that restaurant this weekend? What'd you do at the barbecue? Are you going to buy those shoes? Like, I've heard all kinds of things, and arguably that's
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, I understand that. And that's probably not the appropriate place to
waiting
be.
in line to do a plea, and
Right,
clients
exactly.
are in the
But I'm just talking about more of a lackadaisical attitude, even when communicating about legal issues, like a casual attitude when talking about legal issues, and that I just don't want everybody to let their guard down,
Well, I think if you're trying to do a good work by your client, you're going to have to, do your homework and come prepared and
Right.
act prepared.
The thing, when you walk into a courtroom, you're supposed to be on show. One of the biggest things that I find hilarious when another attorney or people say, "Oh, did you hear what so and so lawyer said that so and so? That was so stupid." When they have no idea why you would say something like that or why you would present something in such a way, they have no idea.
I think it's interesting to, if you've ever been to a Colorado County or a Washington County, see how it's a different atmosphere in those courtrooms. There does seem to be a little more professionalism and respect and just an air of and maybe it's because I'm an outsider, right? I'm not used to always being there, and you walk with a little better posture and make sure your shoes are shinier.
Yeah. I mean, I never go to court in anything but a suit.
Right. I know.
Well, they did relax the dress code over the
I know
summer.
Corey don't wear. I know, but Corey
Still.
looks fly.
I
Corey looks
mean,
fly.
I saw a couple prosecutors with flip-flops and T-shirts.
I know.
And, and I,
But this
fine.
this was going on before Harvey. I mean,
Well,
Yeah.
What I was saying is that when you go into a courtroom, it's my opinion that everything that you say and do is for a purpose,
right.
and that comes with being professional.
Yeah.
That you're going to go in there and you're going to get what you need to, do what you need to, talk to who you need to, act how you need to, look how you need to, and get out with achieving your purpose for being there.
Yeah.
And that comes with professionalism.
Yeah, I mean, I think, kind of going back to what I talked about in the beginning about how we talk about the injustices in the system, right? I think if you're an outsider coming in and you say, I've heard about all this crap going down in Harris County. I want to go check it out for myself. And you roll up to our courtroom and you see some of the crap that you see rolling in and see some of the antics that lawyers do and wear on a daily basis. I just think that's what I'm saying. I think you lose credibility.
Well, that's why people pay for Jimmy Ardoin. That's why people pay for Corey Roth. That's why people pay for Victoria.
Well, we could all stand to look a little bit better and, be a little more professional all the time. But personally, when it comes to prosecutors, if you're going to negotiate reasonably and do good things and give me what I need for my case, I don't care if you're wearing flip-flops or a t-shirt. Just be a good lawyer and do the right thing. So.
Got an interesting comment here. Prosecutors for too long thought they owned the courtroom. Not anymore. It's the judges. Now it's more fair.
Oh, I like that
Do
comment.
you agree with that?
I saw it
I
today.
do agree with that.
It should
Wait
be
a
the
second.
judges.
But wait a second. I mean, our DA is a Democrat. Judges are a Democrat. They've been out campaigning together.
Yeah, but I
Right.
totally feel that comment when I hear
I mean,
it. because
Kim Ogg has been leading the charge for these guys at every fundraiser, at every major fundraiser. Who is out there stomping for the judges?
I have found more prosecutors to be of the not prosecute at all costs mentality. I have started to see a little bit more of that.
met a couple. It's been refreshing, and they're cordial. I mean, I've had hearings where I've won and hearings where I've lost, where prosecutors were just talk about unprofessional, throw a piece of paper at me and not even make eye contact. And it's I didn't do anything to you. I'm
That's
doing
character.
my job.
I mean, I don't think that's which way they lean or whatever. I mean, that's
just
That goes
character.
back to my professionalism.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we all need to work. Both sides need to work at raising the bar on that.
Yeah, but I've also seen, when I hear that comment, what comes to mind is seeing prosecutors just laughing and texting and having a good time, is they know as soon as they get up at the bench to say something, or the judge is going to ask them, and just lean their way. They don't have to come with 110% because they know if they come with 75, it doesn't matter. They're still going to win.
Hey, but a good lawyer is cool, but a better lawyer knows the judge.
But I mean, part of the problem that Kim Ogg was having was with the Republican judges on PTIs and other things like that. I mean, but I mean, so it's going to be interesting to see. These are judges who she was leading the campaign for them at several fundraisers, at several rallies. I mean, she was almost kind of the rock star, elder statesman of the crew because she had been elected in 2016. So here she's coming in doing the stumping for everybody. I'm the one who's gotten the ball rolling, and you go to these Democratic events, and everybody worships at Kim Ogg's feet because she's kind of the one that they view as got this whole thing started in 2016. And so, I wonder when there really is going to be a policy challenge. What are the judges going to do?
Well, we'll see.
Are they
We'll
going
have
to go
give it a
against
chance.
the top of the ticket? Are they going to go against the
Do you
woman
think?
who's at
But
the top of
think
the
do you
ticket?
some of
think
them
you think they
will,
think
like
I don't think
always.
this group of Dems thinks that Kim Ogg is the top of their ticket.
I don't
But
think they
you
think
bring-
that
but
In
you-
2020, she's going to be the top of the
You
local
bring a
ticket.
very good point, dude. That's pretty strong.
She's going to be the top
yeah,
of
I
the local
didn't think
county
about
ticket
that.
in 2020.
Kim Ogg's gonna be top dog 2020. Locally.
Yeah.
And are the Dems? Well,
Now,
they got their
look,
four.
I mean,
Their four. Right.
they rode the Beto wave
Sure.
this session.
Well-
and if he runs for president, and if he makes it, he could be there helping bring the wave again in 2020. Because obviously he's got a lot of charisma, he's got a lot of point. But I'm telling you, you go to these fundraisers, you see how everybody interacts with Kim Ogg. And I mean, I think there is a certain deference that she has been given by the Democratic Party, by those in the Democratic Party, including the judges.
Well, so who's equally as powerful? Linda Hidalgo?
I mean, from a funding standpoint, yeah,
Right?
if not more.
I think so. Well, but no, but
But now the Dems.
Kim
now-
Ogg is the most other than Mary Turner.
Look, Kim Ogg was able to marshal people to go in and basically stop the outgoing county commissioners from voting on anything to do with courthouse construction and rebuild.
She's top of the ticket,
marshaled
man.
she marshaled all the people to go in and stop that.
Is there anything up in 2020?
What do you mean? Is there anything up?
Well, the president.
Jordan's going to be up. President's
Oh,
gonna
but
be
yeah,
up.
Jordan most
Kim
senior.
Og's going to be up.
Kim Og's gonna be up. Ooh. You know that race starts this
Some
summer.
of the other district court benches are going to be
That's
up.
2020. That race starts this summer.
Correct. So that's what I'm saying is.
I've heard.
So if we have a major policy that needs to be challenged, I mean, 2020 is a big election.
Well, give him
Let's-
a chance, Jimmy. It's been 48 hours.
No.
Let's see
but
what
I mean,
happens.
I think they're independent.
I mean,
Let's
I
stick
think
up for
that
themselves.
I can't speak for all of them, but I think a few of them
right?
are.
I mean,
Oh, it
it's supposed to
absolutely
be an
is.
independent judiciary.
It is.
Which is why people have argued that we should take party politics out of the judiciary. So that we don't have this issue.
Well, that would be great, but then
His
nobody would
thoughts.
have any idea how to vote. Right? Then people would actually have to like individually vote. What is this?
Well,
judge's
but I
policy?
think
What
that's
is
why
this?
I think that's why they want to take party politics out of it and go to an appointment and retention system.
You know who I saw walking down the street the other day by the pizza spot?
Who?
Devin Anderson.
Really?
Yeah, and I was walking by, and she was walking by, and I said, I did a little turn, and she was looking as professional, and she's as professional, as strong as she's always has. Just strutting down the street, and I looked at her, and I said, Dev, I said, I couldn't think of anything else, but I said, "What's up?" And she looks at me, and she stops, and says, "What's up?" And I was like, "Okay, that just happened. That was Devin Anderson." So, what
Why don't you tell everybody who Devin Anderson is?
former D.
Well, before you do that, you pick up your microphone that's falling all the way down there, so that people can hear you talk.
Well,
You know, adjust it, dude.
Longhorn Nation, we're back.
Been hitting your mic.
Well, somebody talk while I
Knocking
fix
it down
this.
your
She's not in office now. I
No,
know, she's not.
Well, she is the community relations head for the community supervision office.
Okay.
Probation office, basically.
So,
Community liaison.
Community.
who else? So I've heard Paula Goodhart went to Shellis, Peebles, McAllister,
She did.
and I think that's a great addition. She's going to be. She's been a prosecutor, defense attorney, judge for a long time. I think she's there. I know Judge. Mike. What's up, Mike Fields?
Yeah, we said.
Yeah.
He said
What's up,
Tyler.
Mike?
We talked about him earlier.
Yeah,
Judge
Mike.
Judge Carahan's starting his own deal.
Oh, I did see that.
He's
Yeah,
out.
that's right.
Mike went to Flood and Lewis, which I think Flood and Lewis is an amazing combination. And
Where is this like a list that you're looking at? Where do you find?
I'm
all
just
this
talking
out?
about
Facebook.
judges who went
Oh,
out.
is it on
Comes on-
Facebook?
this comes on
Oh,
social
okay,
media.
okay. I'm not on.
And then
Program, Victoria.
I know. So.
That's
Judge
where everybody gets
Fields?
their news these days.
and Judge Fields is of counsel. I think it's great. Judge Carahan was he's been on his own before, so
Yeah.
he's gonna always land on his feet. Impeccable reputation. Did you see the? So he's saying I did it my way on Facebook.
I did see that.
Did y'all see that?
Or did you attend
I
it?
didn't know.
I didn't attend it.
I thought you were going to be his backup singer.
I'm not. I don't have a voice for that.
You know who I haven't seen?
Who?
Dan Mother Simons. I ain't seen him around at all. Where you at, bro? Come on the show. Where you be?
Did you cross-examine him away
Well,
when he came on?
that was a good time. I haven't seen him. You know who I saw around the courthouse? Judge Ross.
Judge Ross
He's
is
still
always
being a
around.
visiting judge. Yeah, he's
He's
always
coming around.
He works more than anyone in the building, I think.
You know who I think is also great? Judge Yates.
Yeah.
She comes around and visiting Judge great. Judge, is it Wilkerson? Not Court 9, although I think you bring Anna Lee and everybody would be like, Anna Lee's back. Everybody reset. Get a reset. Get a reset. No, Judge Anna Lee's awesome, but it's Wilkerson, not Wilkerson, but Wilkinson. Judge Wilkinson.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Judge Guerrero is visiting.
Is he really?
That's what I was thinking. You know, Judge Mendoza hopped the DA's office. I mean, all the Dems are in. I think you would be visiting judge extraordinaire. You bring Judge Mendoza in. What do you think? Judge
I don't really
Velasquez is
work
coming
with-
around.
Oh, really? Is she? She's all right. I like her.
If I was Judge Mendoza, I'd hop ship and I would just make a bunch of money as a visiting judge. I'm just saying, Judge.
Yourself. You have judicial
That's your
aspirations, JV?
yeah. Is that what you're gonna do? Are you gonna run in 2020?
No.
Come on, JV. No.
No. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do
Pull out the
like
tape of this show and use it against them in the election.
Remember when you said in 2019 you weren't going to run?
no. Well, I was talking to Beto the other day. kidding.
Let's talk about your deal.
Franklin Bynum.
Franklin Bynum.
Franklin
Come on
Bynum.
the show. Where you at, brother?
Is he on the phone?
I don't know. Is he on the phone?
I don't know.
No.
Or is he
Yeah,
in
I'm
the
on the
studio?
phone.
You're
He's on the phone.
Aye.
Franklin,
Yeah.
Are you there?
where you at, bro?
Yeah. First
I'm
time
sorry, Your
caller.
Honor.
Judge.
I don't
Pardon
think
me,
you-
Judge.
I don't think
Pardon
you
me,
can
Judge.
Call him that anymore.
I know. I'm sorry,
that's
Judge.
okay.
Judge.
Franklin is fine. First name is fine.
Sorry about that. I didn't even get the notice that
We
there
didn't
was a phone
realize.
call.
Yeah.
So
No, that's all
apologize.
right. No, you can call me Franklin still. It's fine. Particularly on, It's all right.
How's your first couple days, Judge?
So far so good. Really, it's been the first day was kind of a, it's a paper shuffle. We're just pushing papers. If you'd come down from some alien came down from outer space and like looked at what I was doing for a living, it'd be like, oh, you're just like signing things and moving papers from like one side from the clerk to the coordinator side and back and forth.
What have
But,
you What have you felt in the last couple days that you felt the most challenging? Something that's a challenging as part of your new routine.
Oh, it really is that. So I would say this, JV. I would say that like it is putting the ideals into action, right? And
Right.
so like one of the ideals is I swore up and down, and I stand by this, right? That like the courts are not to be used for roll call, right? I mean, too many roll calls, people 10 minutes late, and they're shackled to a chair, and like I don't want to call the roll, right?
Yeah.
And yet, it was actually the funny thing I said when I came out the first day. I was like, hey, the court's not for roll call, right? We're not going to do a roll call. But then it turns out that I do need to know who has a lawyer and who doesn't, right? So today, I didn't call the roll from top to bottom. I said, if you don't have a lawyer, I'm going to call your name and ask you if you have one, right? And if you don't, then we'll talk later, right? But so it has a function that is not like, trying to figure out who to chain to a chair because, too many years of that. And
What have you felt that is something satisfying in the last couple of days? I mean, as a judge, that you've had pleasure or joy in doing?
really all of it. It really is like it's been really enjoyable to do, to listen, to get to know, everybody from a different kind of perspective. To have the it's all been really good.
Did you feel like when you implemented what you just said, that I'm not doing a roll call to shackle you to a chair, and that I just want to know if you have a lawyer or not, did things fall apart, or did you get the sense that people kind of had a sigh of relief and were able to still be productive and do what needed to be done?
Yeah, I think it was. I'm still getting there. I think that something like that, right, I would say that today I got better at it, and I think that like from here I want to get faster at it, right? So I mean, y'all know, right? Like if you're taking appointments in a court, very important that the judge go through and qualify people, figure out who has a lawyer, and get those appointments out as quickly as possible, right?
Right.
And I'm learning how to do that, right? It is a skill, right? It's not, I can't just come out and slam dunk that the first day. I mean, that's, and there are all kinds of people today. Today I had to learn to say no. Like, and I approached it, no, not right now, right? Like, give me a minute.
Well, okay, let's go back. Let's talk about, give me a minute. There's some discussion that because of the wave that came through November and December, October, November, December, August, September, October, November, December, got pushed to January, basically, because everybody's lame ducks sitting around there for 3 or 4 months, 2 months, and now there's a big backlog of cases. Are you experiencing that, and if you are, and if you're not, what have you heard that courts are doing about that? Because I heard that anything set for, nobody's getting set for trial, and everybody's going to go set pretrial conference, or from pretrial conference to a disposition setting. There's rumors about maybe going to full day dockets. Have y'all talked about as a group about docket management or any sort of significant changes that maybe we should know about? And if you can't talk about them, you can't talk about them. But we'd like to know.
I think that we are having our first official in-person meeting tomorrow. We have been meeting. We've been talking and meeting and working every single week since the election. And there are a lot of things. I mean, we've been working really hard. And, there are too many people working too hard to name. But, Daryl Jordan has really been just an outstanding leader.
Let's talk about Daryl Jordan. I suppose, he's the most senior judge there, right? And how have you seen him, and how has he taken him into the mold of leading, or has he?
Oh, of course. Yeah, he's been guiding us, since Election Day. It's looking back at it, one of the silliest things I said the whole election season was that on election night, I was like, okay, I'm going to take the rest of the year off. And, that was an insane thing to say, right? Because Daryl was calling me the next morning, right? And I also had a law firm to close, which, was
right.
I'm sure that was
another
fun.
whole thing. My goodness. But, Daryl called us all the next morning and had us meeting and had us working. And I think that there are always going to be transition issues, right? I'm sure that there's still those to come, right?
What do you think?
I guarantee that we're much better for all of the work that Daryl has done, getting us all together, getting us organized, teaching us, showing us.
Can somebody else ask him questions? Something new?
Well, I have one last question, Franklin. Where the mother is Dan Simons?
I heard he moved to Utah.
With his kid and wife.
Is that right?
Which is cool. I love you, Dan. I love you and your wife and everybody into it. I love you.
I try not to pay a lot of attention.
Hey, Franklin, how are you personally handling bond situations and conditions? And are you having bond hearings, or how are you going to approach that? And what's the talk been about how the misdemeanor courts are going to handle pretrial releases, personal bonds, that sort of stuff going forward?
We have, there's a lot going on, right? And I never even got to really address the bond docket changes. There are bond docket changes in the works. We're going to meet about it tomorrow. We have a pretty solid plan to make better use of the bond courtroom than a couple hours a day per court. But, kind of stay tuned on that. I don't want to get out ahead of it. That there's still some details, really important details to be hammered out. But
okay, dude, let's talk about interlocks. There's a big rumor going around interlocks. Interlocks are popping off.
You're asking me questions too fast, and I can't
know.
even answer them all.
Well, there's all kinds of everything's buzzing
excited.
around all day, man.
He's so
interlocks, some interlocks, MOEPs, this and
Some
that.
questions for when we finally get him on to come on
You're
the
gonna
show.
have to go by his courtroom and say hello, and talk to him.
Yeah, just come say hi. So look, Judge Jordan is covering jail dockets for all of us this week to give us the space to kind of ease into our bond dockets. And I think that when you talk about bail review and things like that, I think that those are most applicable at jail dockets, right? If they're at a bond docket, they're already on bond. If you're talking about conditions, you're talking about interlocks, I think that what we saw in a lot of courts for a lot of years was automatic application of conditions regardless of what the PC of the case was, or what the situation of the individual is, or what their ability to pay is, or any number of these things. And so, what I'm doing is what everyone should be doing, and I think everyone is doing, is treating things as a case by case basis, and that is going to mean rolling back some kind of decisions that were made in a way that may have been more mechanistic.
Let me ask you this, man. Are we going to keep seeing transfers of 1517 hearings and have to do all the dance around the little circus, going to pretrial and getting a bondsman going around in circles before we can just post a non-arrest bond?
Well, there are big changes coming to the way bonding works, and the reason is not because of this election necessarily, but because
settlement.
we have a federal lawsuit that really has set the boundaries of what a legal bail system looks like to be, kind of way different than people really realize. And yet, it's going to get better for everybody, right? But the exact details and zeroing in on the issue of, I personally set bond amounts so people can. So people don't necessarily have to hit 15, 17 to get a bond amount set.
That's
right?
what I mean. Okay, so previously it was
but
before.
There are bigger changes coming than that. Because working within the framework of the settlement, working within the framework of the injunction and the findings of the judge so far, it falls upon us to really design a constitutional bail system, maybe for the first time in Harris County.
Well,
and
Well, then what about all that funding that's been put into this MacArthur grant and all this pre-trial and all this get the PSA and all that? I don't understand why we can't approach a judge, talk to them about the PC, and them go over the bail factors and then set a bail. I don't understand why we need pre-trial and all this kind of stuff.
In my court, you can't. And in fact, I think that I encourage my colleagues to be generous with walkthroughs. There's no reason why we should not be for misdemeanors. My God.
He had a bunch of weed. Forget it, right? Come on, man.
Yeah, people can do walkthroughs in Court 8, and I think I can't speak for my colleagues, right? And I think that what we need to do is spend time, taking the best practices and making them the local rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
The local rules are going to go through something of an overhaul. But look, walkthroughs are available every day. Today I heard from a line public defender that somebody didn't hit 15, 17, and they were like, well, what happened? Did they get early presentment PR bond? And they were like, no, Court 8 just granted it.
Yes! Yes!
Somebody just showed up and,
Yes, man!
Yeah, a defense lawyer.
Jesus, that sounds normal. That sounds rational. Oh my gosh, my mind is emoji blown. It's so freaking come on, man.
There's a lot happening, and I'd love to come on sometime and tell you all about it. But y'all said Dan Simons and my ears burned.
Dan, I love you. I swear to God, I respect you. Good fight, Matt, brother. Franklin, I love you.
We'd love to get you on anytime, Franklin.
Yeah, that would be great, Franklin.
Whenever you feel like you have the time and have settled into the gig and can give us a spare hour, that'd be great.
Great, will do.
Awesome.
So y'all stay with it.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
See you, brother. Thank you, Franklin.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Can you summarize your thing in 5 minutes? Because that's what we got.
Is that what you always do this to me, Jimmy?
I didn't mean to.
Yes. So
Okay. I tried to. And then
pre-trial writ of habeas corpus challenging the constitutionality of the online harassment statute on the First Amendment grounds.
This is what you were referring to earlier when we were talking about Judge Jordan.
Correct.
Yeah.
And it was in Court 6, but the Judge Stanley, I think, was out for medical issues. In any case, Judge Jordan did the hearing, and, we had to get multiple resets. That hearing, I had filed that application for writ a long time ago.
I watched it.
I think you were there.
I was there.
The whole
Vic, you were extremely articulate. You were a lion. Your points were sharp. You were very well prepared. The district attorney that went up against you was prepared and went sharp and brought everything he could.
Good.
He did extremely well. At the end of the day, you won, though.
I did, and it was a big thanks to Judge Jordan, who actually, like I said earlier, I felt for the first time somebody really read the things that I wrote, and the arguments and asked me questions that were relevant to the law. And, had I not been through that similar experience in Fort Bend with the First Amendment challenge, I think maybe it would have been a different story, but I was very, what's the word, motivated and very reassured by the questions that Judge Jordan asked and by the time that he put into it.
So you challenged the constitutionality of a statute,
Right. So
and you won.
Right.
And the state of Texas has appealed that now.
Correct. So procedurally, what you have to do is when you challenge a statute based on the First Amendment, it's a pretrial writ of habeas corpus, but also simultaneously filed a motion to quash the information, which is a charging instrument in a misdemeanor case. So you want to do that so that you have some remedy, right? Because you're saying if the law is no good, then my client should not have been charged under it, so you need to dismiss the case. And that's what happened. And the state has now filed a notice of appeal, and the appeal is pending. The appeal is going to be on both, but first they have to appeal the writ that they lost in order to.
I love nerding out.
We need to be more like Vicky.
I love nerding out like
You know,
that.
I
It's
just
so awesome.
really
Vic.
got to hang for the First Amendment stuff. I have a really, good
It was invented in
mentor.
Greece back in, right, wasn't the First Amendment invented in Greece?
Right,
back
that
in the
helps,
early
and I
1200s?
totally put that in my petition, that it's the cornerstone of democracy. Well, because I really do believe, like, the online harassment statute makes it a crime if you send a repeated electronic communication to another person with the intent to annoy, embarrass, harass, alarm, torment. And the communication is made in a way reasonably likely to annoy, alarm, harm, embarrass. Think about all the things we say to each other.
Yeah.
How many things do we say that annoy or alarm? And the case law in Texas has said
I get
that
texts from you guys all day.
Well, I'll
Texts that
tell you
we
one
have that
thing.
Annoy me.
every communication we make is an electronic communication. It encompasses every form of modern communication. And if we can't, and the other thing I argued, which I think is true, is the internet and electronic communications are like the modern agora, like the space where the exchange of ideas happens. And if you want to say you live in a free society and a democracy, you can't criminalize hurting people's feelings because you may say something more than once to them that embarrasses them. Also, the Supreme Court has said that's not a category of unprotected speech.
This.
So-
Do you hear this language?
Professor.
Do you hear this? This is you
So
are
we'll
you are
see what
making law.
happens.
You are literally challenging the constitutionality of a statute. It is brilliance from your lips.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm telling you,
Jamie.
that is so amazing.
So we'll
I think-
see what
I think-
happens.
I think the quote I take away from that is we can't criminalize hurting people's feelings.
Hey,
No, because that's what we try to do now. We try to everybody gets butthurt over stuff and we try to criminalize it and,
Right.
gosh.
And if we didn't do that, we'd never have any progression. I
Right.
mean, there were people once upon a time that were adamant that the earth was flat. And if someone didn't
There's
hurt
people,
their
I hate to
coming
break
back.
it to you, but those people are still around.
That-
no, I hate to break it to you.
And they
though,
play in the
but
NBA,
There's
some of them.
people all over the globe who believe like that.
Yeah,
It's true.
Something like that.
yeah. Some of our professional athletes believe that, actually.
No, I'm hurt,
we-
Jimmy. I'm really hurt.
Well, you better wrap it up.
I'm very sad.
Do you have like a physical injury?
No, I'm very sad. You've hurt my feelings today,
Why?
tonight, because too many of us are just getting hurt. Us millennials.
Oh, well,
They're just crying.
what can I do? I can't do anything more for you, man. I try to treat you right. All you leave here is with hurt feelings. Arrest me, bro. That's all the time we have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to check out of here. For our guests, Victoria Urfesoglu and Corey Roth. Are we going to be back next week?
Next week,
Okay.
we're coming strong. Paula Goodhart, tune in.
Is she?
I don't know. I just called it.
Good night, everybody.
Just making stuff up.
Oh, well.